What's up, dudes? I'm the Dominicator, and in this video, I'm going to hypnotize you to become a slave. Shout out to Kevin for commissioning this video. Thanks, dude. Your support is appreciated. As in all of my videos, you'll be asked to comment at the end while hypnotized, so go ahead and log into an account that you can use for that. Mute any distractions, and continue when you're ready. Now to begin, I just want you to look at the pocket watch and watch it as it goes back and forth and back and forth. And just continue listening to the sound of my voice as you watch the pocket watch go back and forth. And I want you to take a very deep breath. And as you breathe in, allow all of the stresses and tensions inside of your small muscle fibers to be drawn inside of your breath. And as you breathe out, release all of those stresses and tensions into the air. And the more and more that you breathe very deeply, the more and more that those stresses and tensions will just relax all throughout the body. And the more and more that you listen to the sound of my voice, the more and more that your body and your mind will both relax. And the more that you gaze at the pocket watch as it swings back and forth and back and forth, the more and more that the mind will tend to drift. In fact, you can begin to feel a little magnetic force that's beginning to pull your eyes in toward the watch. And as you continue looking at the watch, and as you continue listening to the sound of my voice, you'll find that your eyes are attracted to the watch. And the more that you look at it, the harder and harder that it becomes to look away. You begin to notice that magnetic force right about now. And it will seem very subtle at first, but the more and more that you continue looking at the watch, the more and more that you'll feel drawn into it, and the harder and harder that it will become to look away. And pretty soon, it will become so difficult that you won't even be able to look away at all. And when that happens, you begin to feel a very powerful influence from the sound of my voice. You can already begin to feel it now, as you feel my words beginning to influence you. The more and more that I speak, the more and more that my words have power and influence. As you continue listening to the sound of my voice, it seems as if each and every word is going straight through your ears and sinking right down into your mind. And the more and more that you continue listening to the sound of my voice, the more and more irresistible that my words become, and the more and more that you find that my voice is influencing you. And as you realize that to be true, you find little waves of pleasure coursing throughout your entire body, and nice waves of relaxing pleasure coursing throughout your entire mind, as you realize that the sound of my voice is beginning to replace your thoughts. And the more and more that you continue listening, the stronger and stronger that the effect becomes. And the more and more relaxed that your mind becomes, the more and more that your mind simply drifts away. And in fact, your mind may be drifting so far away now that you could just forget that I'm speaking to you altogether. Because your mind can just automatically and involuntarily take in all of my words and understand automatically and involuntarily what it is that I'm saying. It's just as if you're reading an audiobook. And as you continue looking at the pocket watch in front of you, you'll find that your mind's eye may be looking at something entirely different, as the sound of my voice and my words begin to describe a totally different scenario. You might imagine, for example, what it must be like to serve a master. And just as I said that, you may begin to experience images flooding inside of your mind of what it's like to serve a master. And as you do, as those images flood into your mind, you can feel a wonderful and warm flush of heat on the very surface of your skin that just feels so good. And as you continue to see those images inside of your mind, you feel even more waves of warmth and pleasure throughout your entire body. You can even feel the sound of my voice beginning to curl around you as you feel a nice and warm and masculine and dominant sensation all around you. It's just as if the air all around you is laced with the sound of my voice, and as the air particles swirl around your body, you can feel the sound of my voice all around you as it begins to rock you back and forth and back and forth, just like the pocket watch. And by now, no doubt you found that your eyes have become more and more attracted to the pocket watch, and then it's become more and more difficult to look away. And as you find that to be true, the pocket watch will also cause your mind to drift away even more and more. As the pocket watch attracts your attention, so too will it cause your mind to drift away, and so will the sound of my voice. Because as you listen to the sound of my voice, you just find it so relaxing. It's so very relaxing that it causes all of your thoughts to just melt away. You can imagine that your thoughts are just like sentences inside of your mind that reel through. But as you listen to the sound of my voice, you'll find that those thoughts just melt away. You can imagine that your thoughts are like sentences that reel through your mind, but as you listen to the sound of my voice is so very warm and enticing that it just causes all of those thoughts to melt. Those thoughts might begin, but before you can even finish them, they've completely and totally melted. And the more and more that you listen to the sound of my voice, the more and more that those thoughts just melt away. All of those sentence thoughts just melt away as you imagine what it's like to serve a master, as your mind's eye imagines just what it's like to serve a master. The more that you imagine it, the more and more pleasant that it seems to become. It feels unnatural or even dirty at first, but the more and more that you imagine it, the more and more pleasant that it seems to become, and the more and more at peace and at ease with the thought that you are. As you continue imagining what it is like to serve a master, you begin to experience that the very thought of that makes you happier and happier. And so you just want to continue imagining exactly what it's like to serve a master. And the more that you do so, the more and more that your mind just drifts away. The more that your mind drifts away off into this imagining of what it's like to serve a master. And as I continue speaking, you will begin to feel the dominance coming from the sound of my voice. You'll feel a tone of dominance coming from the sound of my voice. And as you do, as you feel that tone and color and warmth of my voice, you'll feel a very passive and pleasant sensation washing over you as you just continue listening to the sound of my voice. And that dominance feels so very pleasant and so very nice that the more and more that you listen to the sound of my voice, and the more that you feel that feeling of dominance emanating from the sound of my voice, the more and more that you want to feel that feeling of dominance from the sound of my voice, and the more that you'll find that my words are irresistible, the more and more that you'll want to listen to them. And so, since you were imagining what it's like to serve a master, and it feels so good to imagine that, as you listen to the sound of my voice, you can't help but imagine what it must be like to serve me, to follow and obey my words. And as you realize that to be true, you just want to continue sinking down into the sound of my voice, and sinking down into my dominance. And the more that you do, the harder and harder that it becomes to stop listening, and the harder and harder that it becomes to look away from the pocket watch, as your eyes are drawn even more intensely and even more closely into the pocket watch. Very soon, I'm going to count from 1 to 5. When I reach 5, I'm going to snap my fingers and say the word sleep. Whenever I snap my fingers, you'll feel a jolt of electricity coursing all throughout your body and inside of your mind. And when you feel that jolt, it's going to completely short-circuit your brain, and it's going to thrust you down into a wonderful, blissful, passive, and mindless state of sleep, in which all that you'll be able to do is just listen to and follow and obey my words. And it's going to feel so good. It's going to feel so wonderful to be in that nice and mindless and happy and blissful state just following and obeying my words. And as you do follow and obey my words, you'll experience wonderful feelings and pleasure as you find out just what it's like to follow and obey a master. And you'll find that even though your conscious mind may want to resist going down into this completely obedient state, that your unconscious mind now wants so much to go down to that wonderful state, that it's going to completely, involuntarily, and automatically take you all the way down whenever I snap my fingers and say the word sleep. As I count from 1 to 5, you're going to feel a heaviness, a feeling of heaviness coming over the eyelids as I count from 1 to 5. And as I do count from 1 to 5, my words are going to begin to take you down into that completely thoughtless, completely mindless, and totally obedient state of sleep. And now beginning with 1, as you go down even further, as your mind drifts away even more, and 2, as the eyes become heavier and heavier with each and every word that I say, and 3, you can feel a magnetic force on your eyes pulling them down, and a magnetic force on your ears drawing them in toward my words, and 4, you're almost there, and now 5, sleep, sleep down all the way, and you'll continue being able to listen to the sound of my voice. But now something curious has happened. As you listen to the sound of my voice, every word that I say is going to be the complete and absolute truth. And with each and every command or order that I give you, you're going to feel an irresistible and magnetic compulsion to completely and totally obey that order. You'll feel an irresistible and magnetic compulsion to obey each and every order that I give you. And as you do obey those orders, you're going to feel wonderful waves of pleasure coursing through your entire mind. And each and every time that you do obey, and that you feel these wonderful waves of pleasure, your obedience is going to be reinforced. And the more and more that you obey me, the more and more that I become your master. And the more that I become your master, the more and more that you become a slave. And that feels so good. It feels so good to descend down into that wonderful, mindless, and obedient state in which all you want to do is just to obey my commands. It's just to obey your master. And all you want to do is just serve your master. All you want to do is serve me. And the more and more commands and orders that I give you, the more and more that you want to serve me, as you find that obeying me gives you wonderful ways of pleasure that course throughout your entire mind. It just feels so good to obey and serve a master. It feels so good to obey me and serve me. And the better that it feels, the deeper and deeper that you want to go into this wonderful state, the more and more that you want to call me master, the more and more that you will want to become a slave. Now soon, very soon, I'm going to wake you up. And yet after I wake you up, you're going to find that thoughts enter your mind. They flood inside of your mind. Thoughts of wanting to obey me and serve me. Thoughts of wanting to obey and serve your master. And even long after the video ends, you're going to experience these thoughts and these ideas flooding inside of your mind, completely and totally involuntarily. And as you do, the more and more that you think about them, the more and more that you'll realize that I have become your master, and that you have become a slave, because you are involuntarily and automatically obeying me. And that just feels so wonderful. The more and more that you think about it, the better and better that it feels, and the more and more that you want to serve a master. Oh, very good. Now in a moment, I'm going to count from 1 to 5. When I reach 5, I'm going to snap my fingers, and when I do, you'll feel another jolt of electricity coursing throughout your brain, and it's going to open your eyes. Whenever your eyes open, and you're going to leave a comment. You'll leave a comment that says, "I am Master Dominic's slave." Whenever I snap my fingers, your eyes will open and you'll feel your body involuntarily and automatically moving toward the keyboard to type out a comment. You'll leave a comment for me that says, "I am Master Dominic's slave." And once you leave that comment, then you'll wake up and you'll realize that to be true. And as you do, you'll feel a wonderful wave of pleasure coursing throughout your entire body as you realize that you have been enslaved, commanded, and that you have obeyed your master. And you will also subscribe if you haven't already, and like this video because you like having a master. You like to obey and serve. You like being a slave. Very good. Now I'm going to begin counting upward from 1 to 5. And as I do count from 1 to 5, you're going to feel some energy begin to surge back into your body. And only once I reach the number 5 and I snap my fingers, will your eyes open, and then you'll be ready to obey my commands. Now beginning with 1, as you feel some energy coming back into your body. And 2, and 3, as you slowly begin to come back up to a nice awakened state. And 4, you're almost there. And 5. Alright dudes, like, subscribe, and check out Dominicator.com to visit my t-shirt store, or to commission a video, or to leave a tip in my tip jar. Catch you later dudes.